Shalom, 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 Yasha'Allah. This your boy, Brother Shama'Allah. Back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called Paying to be Destroyed. All right, paying to be destroyed. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have ruled well to the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. Right, like I said, today's lesson is going to be called Paying to be Destroyed. All right, this is a news article from the Telegraph. It says Trump's $5 million gold card comes with a big tax perk. So DJ has unveiled a $5 million gold card. It says embellished. It says with his face. So like with his face that allows wealthy foreigners to buy their way towards U.S. citizenship. It says brandishing the first sparkling sample of the Trump card, the U.S. president aboard Air Force One said, for $5 million, this could be yours. The scheme, which is similar to other countries' Salakia Golden Visa program, will grant non-citizens U.S. residency in exchange for the sum. It says the card features his portrait, which closely resembles his infamous scowling mugshot, his signature, the bald eagle, the official national bird since December, and a stamp showing it costs $5 million. It says the president had first touted the scheme in late February and revealed it will be out in less than 2 weeks. It says experts are split over whether it will be successful, but one tax perk could make it very appealing to the world's super wealthy. It says, how would the gold card work? Trump's gold card is intended to replace the backlogged EB-5 program, which allows foreign investors to become permanent residents. It says the scheme created in 1990s grants green cards to non-residents who help to create or preserve U.S. jobs and invest roughly $1 million. It says, and forms of pathway to citizenship. It says it has been criticized for long waiting lists and has only raised an estimated $15 billion over the past 10 years. Howard Lutnick, the U.S. Commerce Secretary, previously said the EB-5 program was filled with nonsense and fraud. It says Sarah Kawaja of legal and professional services firm Burlington said full details of how the system would work are yet to be disclosed. However, Trump stating that the further details will be revealed when the visas go on sale. It says is a strong indicator that this route will require a little more than money. It says the main requirement is that you have $5 million, which you can exchange for a route to citizenship. This is unlike other visa routes, which have varied and complex requirements for eligibility. It says high net worth and ultra high net worth people will jump at a chance to apply. The current routes, which require operating a business similar to our current situation in the UK, are unappealing. It says to people with serious wealth and Trump knows that this is a very attractive scheme. It says Lutnick said that as a result of the gold visa, the most productive people in the world will start spending time here, providing that they are good people and vetted. It says we can always take it away if they're evil, mean, or bad. It says asked if Russian ogres could apply, Trump said when he was initially launching it, it was a possibility. He says, I know some Russian oligarchs who are very nice people. It's possible. It says, Slovakia, dang. It says, what are the benefits of the gold card? It says, America can be an attractive place to live. It says, with a thriving tech sector, higher wages than the UK. It says, but there is currently one big downside to acquiring U.S. residency tax. It says, head Amatali of law firm Hill Dickinson said most people with established wealth avoid moving to the U.S. on the basis that once you get a green card, you are taxable on a worldwide basis. It says they must pay income tax on income made in the U.S. and any earned overseas, including their home country. It says, however, Trump has previously suggested that the gold card holders would only be subject to tax on U.S. earnings and not on their overseas income. It says, while the details are not clear, this would be a game changer for the global rich. This option is not available to U.S. citizens, and so the gold card could allow foreigners to, in effect, buy a tax benefit. It said it's also a reason why Trump can charge such a high price for the gold card. It says, how does the gold card compare with other visa schemes? It says Trump's gold card will have plenty of competition with lower price points. Alina Lesney, citizenship and residence permit expert for Aston, said other countries offer far more accessible programs. It says investors can, for an example, gain multi-citizenship for an investment of around 1 million. And it says they can get a European Union passport after an average of 1.5 years without the need of permanent relocation. Hungary launched a new residency scheme last summer requiring a minimum investment of at least $250,000, and Portugal offers starts at minimum of $500,000. It says investors can also get a golden visa in Greece by purchasing a property for $250,000 in some areas. Let's see. All right, let's see. Okay, it says, let's see, as it said. All right, Salakia. It says Lutnick previously said that 1,000 cards had already been sold despite the scheme not having started. He said he also claimed that 37 million people globally have a means of buying one. It says Trump, he said, believes we can sell 1 million, which would theoretically create a sum of 5 trillion, helping bring down national debt. It says, but Dr. Surik said the current numbers don't support this. It says globally, the average over the past 10 years of individuals willing to hand over 5 million for a visa hovers at around 370 families annually. When Australia and the UK ran similarly priced schemes, they saw only a few hundred applications submitted each year. It says, will Trump's gold coin shine? It says one stumbling block could be the price tag. It says, Lesnier said, the $5 million price tag is likely going to be far too high to result in a large enough level for uptake for it to reduce the U.S. national debt as it is intended to do. It says it remains unclear whether the scheme will offer any substantial advantages such as expedited process, the EB-5 path to a green card takes about a year, and the absence of stringent background checks to motivate investors to commit more funds. However, if the tax benefit come with it, there could be a higher level of uptake. It says Basil Moore Elzik, head of Americas for Citizenship and Residency Advisory firm Henley and Partners, said gold card has the potential to be successful as the U.S. remains a very attractive destination for wealthy people with top-tier education, healthcare, and business opportunities. But he added the success will depend on the residency requirements, tax implications, and general application process offered. It says, we do expect there will be interest. However, we do not believe that other countries that offer so-called green visas will still be popular as wealthy families and investors generally apply to multi-programs. All right. And this is a picture of, it says for $5 million, this could be yours. All right. And, like I said, I labeled the title basically paying for destruction, because ultimately that's what you're doing, right? You're paying to become a resident here in Babylon when Babylon's going to be destroyed. So you're paying to come here to be destroyed. All right, let's get it. Let's get into it, Salakia. Let's go to let's go here real quick. Right? And ultimately, we know all this is of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi at the end of the day. Right? Let's go to the book of Job. Right? So you're going to sit there and you're going to pay $5 million, right, for a gold card only to be destroyed here in Babylon. Right? So you're paying for your destruction. All right? What is that? Job 12 and 16. It says, Job chapter 12, verse 16, it says, with him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his, right? Because it's ultimately of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, right? And he's playing chess while y'all over here trying to play checkers or Connect Four. All right, and the Lord has already put the moves in place, and you're gonna have people over here trying to jump towards this thing and pay all this money only to be destroyed here in Babylon, right? Which the scriptures tell you that this place is going to be the lake of fire, all right? Because of the ICBM missiles that are going to hit and destroy this place, all right? And ultimately, you were deceived of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, all right? Let's go to the book of Zephaniah real quick. Zephaniah 1 and let's see. Let's just jump down to verse 17, right? Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 17, and it says, and I will bring distress upon men, and they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. All right? The Lord is going to utterly destroy this place, Babylon. It says, neither shall their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's wrath. Right? So your $5 million gold card, hey, that's not going to be able to prevent you from being destroyed. Ultimately, you're paying to be destroyed here in Babylon. All right, you get your little visa, you think you're doing and you wind up over here. You see how the Yahawah Shai is knocking these planes out. Hey, now you ain't gonna be able to go nowhere. Now you're trapped here, right? You're trapped here for the Lord's sacrifice that He's about to implement. Okay, so it says, verse number 18. It says, neither silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahawah Shai's wrath. It says, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. All right, so it's just basically you just got put in a trick box. You sat there, you got that gold, that $5 million, gold visa. You thinking you're doing something, and the Lord has actually basically trapped you, and set you up here for destruction. Okay, let's go to Jeremiah. All right, let's read a little bit about this place. All right, let's go to Jeremiah 50, and let's go to verse number 24. Right. Yep. Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 24 says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahawah Yahawashi. All right. The Lord set a trap for you. All right. The Lord set a trap for you, and you think you're doing something, right? And ultimately it was all that the Lord's doing to bring you over here, right? To pay your money to be destroyed. All right. Let's see. In the G&T it says, Babylonia, you fought against me, and you have been caught in the trap I set for you. It says, even though you did not know it. All right. Let's see what the NLT says. It says, listen, Babylon, for I set a trap for you. You are caught, for you have fought against Yahawah Yahawashi. Right? And that's ultimately what's going to happen to people, man. Right? The Lord is going to catch them in that trick bag, and now, boom, checkmate. Right? It's over. You're done. All right? The Lord has got you. Right, it says, reading on verse 25, it says, Yahawah Shai hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. It says, for this is the work of Yahawah Shai, the most high power of hosts, and the land of the Chaldeans. All right, it says, come against her from the uttermost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly, and let nothing of her be left. All right, because the Lord is ultimately going to destroy everything about this place. All right. Let's see. Verse number 23, just reading up, it says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Okay, because this place is going to be utterly destroyed, right? Let's jump up a little bit to verse number 13. All right, it says, because of the wrath of Yahawah Shai, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Every one that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. It says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend a bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she have sinned against Yahawah Shai. All right. So, and the Lord is going to use these other nations, right, to destroy this place, right, along with Yahawashi and the angels when they come. They're going to make sure that this place is utterly wasted. All right. When we go to the book of Revelation, right? Revelation chapter 15, verse 2, and it says, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. It says, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over the mark, it says, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having harps of the Most High. All right. And that sea mingled with glass is the elect, who are looking down, on Babylon, America on fire. Right. And they're looking through, in those chariots, they're looking through the glass and they're seeing underneath, they're seeing this whole place be destroyed. Right. What John the Revelator saw the lake of fire. Right. Because it was America from one coast to the other coast, completely engulfed in fire, right? Those ICBM missiles, those arrows that are going to be shot at this place, all right? And there's no getting past it, all right? The scriptures tell you in the book of Isaiah, right? So you're going to pay your money just to be swept away by this place, man. All right? It says, verse 22, it says, for I will rise up against them, saith Yahawah Bahasham of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahawah Bahasham. All right, because the Lord is going to wipe this place completely off. This place is, like it said, it's going to be wholly desolate, right? It's going to be desolate. And the man is not going to inhabit this place anymore, right? And here you are, you paid your $5 million for your gold card just to be destroyed, okay? It says, I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Right? The Lord has, much anger for this place. Okay. We go to the NLT. It says, I will make Babylon a desolate place of isles filled with swamps and marshes. I will sweep the land with the broom of destruction. All right. That broom of destruction is those ICBM missiles. Okay. When you think when they impact and they explode, what does it do? It sends out a wave, a shock wave, right? To sweep, the surrounding area, that impact area. Okay. And as it's doing it, it's melting anything in its path. All right. So it says, I will make Babylon a desolate place of isles filled with swamps and marshes. I will sweep the land with the broom of destruction. It says, I, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi of heaven's armies, have spoken it. Okay? And that's what's coming, right? And ultimately you got set up by Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. You thought you was coming here to, live elegantly, that you were gonna, do, and ultimately you're just paying to be destroyed. You're paying for your own destruction, right? And that's just the when you think about it, man, that's the wonderful works of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right, at the end of the day, because he's the one who, like he said, he set a trap for you, and you fell for the okie doke, and he got you. Jeremiah, what is that, 51 and verse number 1, right? It says, thus saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. It says, and I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. And it says, and against him that bendeth and let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifted up himself in his brigandine, it says, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. Right? It says, thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in the streets, okay? Because the Lord is going to, you know, destroy everybody who's left in Babylon, okay? Whether you paid 5 million, right, or you were here as a slave, right? Because 2/3 of our people, they're gonna have to die here in Babylon too, okay? But ultimately, the Lord, you know, is creative in his movie, and He's gonna have people purchasing these gold cards only to pay for their own destruction at the end of the day. All right, call Yahawah Bahasham outside. Right, this place is finished, man. This place is done. Right, this place is finito. All right, so I just want to do that quick lesson. Lord's will, this was edifying. Right, with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, call Halal Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Bahasham Qadash. Right, peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Mighty Shalom. All right, and double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have ruled well to the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, right? And just push this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days, right? A mighty shalom to the 144,000 men and to the rest of the elect. Stay diligent, stay focused, keep praying for one another, right? And make sure you keep Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi as your refuge, all right? Because, hey, this it's about to continue to get crazy out here, right? I keep saying it, right? But we know it's coming, all right? With that, I'll say shalom.